Take one.
Welcome to Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. It's Friday night, so it must be Friday Night Live on YouTube.
Welcome back to my podcast, Transparent Conversations. Tonight is Friday Night Live. It's 7:56. I am late. I said it would be here about 7:15, 7:30, but I had to get some cooking done and some meeting done. But here I am, nonetheless, in my new setup for the first time. Please let me know how it is. So let me talk about a little bit about myself. My name is Calvin, or CPJR. I used to be called the Melancholy Guy. I did a podcast on ethical non-monogamy, and I did a second podcast on living with addiction. So this is my new podcast, Transparent Conversations, coming to you live from the DMV. Just let you know that we really are in the DVD. And if you know that music, you recognize, you know exactly where we are. So I'm in Maryland. I was born and raised in Maryland. Let me catch my breath for a second. I don't know why I'm nervous right now. It's very strange. Just something I have to get used to, which I will get used to eventually, I guess. So anyway, so this is like I said, I did my first podcast on ethical non-monogamy, swinging, polyamory, opening up my marriage, and then I did my second podcast on living with addiction. I was basically talking about where I was as an active addict and how I was going to get into recovery. I did get into recovery. I moved in with a young lady, and then that didn't go as planned. I relapsed after being 6 months clean. I relapsed, and it's been a real weird situation all that time. Hold on a second. All that time, and I guess I wanted to talk about it to bring us up to where we are in this new podcast. What I'm going to be talking about during this new podcast session. I'm not going to be talking about one thing in particular. I'm not going to be talking about ethical non-monogamy all the time or addiction all the time. I think I'm going to talk about my life and where I am in recovery. Since I'm going to go ahead and make this day one for me, so that my days can match my episodes. So there'll be day one, episode one. Unfortunately, by the time I get to episode 5, day 5. So we'll do it like that to see how long I could stay in recovery or be in recovery. I'm going to try to make it for the next 15 years. That should be my time to retire. So we'll see. So I guess I want to start this off with why is the podcast called Transparent Conversations? Transparent Conversations used to be a podcast. Used to be a Facebook group that me and some friends started, or actually this young lady started. The Facebook group was full of basically just ethical non-monogamy people. It had some swingers, BDSM. And it was supposed to be an open space, a safe space for people to come in and share and talk about anything they wanted to talk about. So I was trying to come up with a new name for my new podcast, and Transparent Conversations came into my head. It was a good group. It was very open. It was a safe space. So that's what I'm trying to create here, a safe space for me and for you or anybody else who wants to really share some truths, because that's the only way you can heal, if you share your truth. And that's one thing I found out. If I'm talking about what I'm going through on a regular daily basis to somebody who can't pass judgment or need anything from me, it works out better for me. Because it basically, if I don't know, it's always seemed like as soon as you're doing better in other people's lives and people in your life, they're going to start putting demands on you right away. And it's like, wait a minute, I need to be selfish for a while to get myself together, and then I can give to you. But you can't take from me if I don't have nothing to take, because basically you're going to build resentment. So I went through a lot of that. Not blaming anyone for anything. Everything I've been through in my life is on me. I caused it. I was at fault, and that's why I'm trying to make it better. But so I'm not making excuses, but I'm just learning things about me after going through, so many different relapses and trying to rebuild. So, so my last podcast ended with me relapsing while I was working with AWS, and I lived with my my nesting partner or girlfriend at the time. That ended that relationship, but I'm not sure that relationship was gonna last anyway. And that's something that I need to deal with myself. And it's about getting relationships that I'm not sure are going to last. It's just something to do a lot of times, or something I plan on doing, and then maybe I change my mind, but then I'll just go ahead and jump in and do it anyway. So that's something I definitely need to change going forward. Basically, once I set my intentions and set my direction, just stay on that and just stay away from relationships for the year. Basically, the suggestion is if you're going through recovery, you actually should be. The suggestion is don't get into new relationships for a year because you aren't ready for, to make the right decisions. You aren't ready to take on a load, take on other people's problems, other people's emotions, because that's going to happen a lot. I am really, really nervous. I'm not really sure why. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm not elevated enough. So give me 1 second. I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip that I want to talk about today. It's going to be our conversation. The conversation for today is going to be about what got me here in this seat again. I was going to be in this seat again anyway to do another podcast, but what got me here in this seat in almost the exact same spot I was in 2020. The only difference is I don't have a girlfriend and I don't want one either. That's a big difference. And I'm actually happy about that though. Like, I don't really want to get back into that relationship again. So I'm going to start this off by actually reading a poem that I wrote about addiction. And just to let you know, I think I wrote this about in 2020 or 2021 when I was definitely going through a lot. So let me pull that up. And the poem is called Addiction. Hopefully I can get through it. Because it's something that I wrote. I think I published it on Medium, but nowhere else. I've never read it out loud. I think I shared it with some people, but that's about it. So I'm going to read it right now. And sometimes the words are a bit awkward. I haven't really cleaned it up, so here goes. Addiction. Addiction is losing control. It is severing the connection to your soul. It can be pain on overload, and the momentary relief will drive you from your abode. And that momentary relief will drive you from your abode. And when will you return? Nobody knows. What is life with no control? Not being able to plan can take a toll. Your dreams and all your aspirations will be put on hold. When will they come back? Only your higher power knows. Your friends and your family will have no choice but to leave you out in the cold. Loving you always extracts such a high toll. The expense will be unlimited, but even raising the deficit will not be sufficient. When will they finally have to lock all the doors? Only time really knows. Once you lose all hope, then your life just becomes one more hit of dope. What is there to live for? What is there left to even die for? You will keep chasing and chasing, but then the real problem becomes, will you be able to stop before your life comes to a close? Unfortunately, the answer to many of us is simply no. But there is always hope. Again, I must repeat, there's always hope for a life without craving for just another hit of dope. All right, so that's my poem. I wrote about addiction, and I wrote that at a time that I was really going through. And I was really like, one thing I was actually, I went to get some therapy in, 2020, when I started working for AWS and Amazon. And one thing they asked me at that time, and I never got to ask this before, was I feeling suicidal? Was I having any thoughts of killing myself? Was I feeling suicidal? At the time, no. I could say no, I wasn't feeling suicidal. I wasn't thinking about taking my life or any of that. But as time goes on, from that point on, over the last couple of years, that changed. And that got scary. That got scary as hell. So that really showed me, and not only that though, since 2020, I've known I think 5 people that have died in the streets from just regular using or fentanyl, all that kind of stuff. I think it's six people. Yeah, they died from just now, and they're all like my age. You know what I'm saying? I'm 59. So they're all like my age, and I think that this is not definitely it's not a young man's game. It's definitely for the older folks. So like I never I never been to relapse. My life was much better beforehand, but you know it's been hell ever since. But we're gonna build it. We're gonna build it back one day at a time. And every Friday I'm gonna be here just talking about how it's going. All right, so I want to talk about I want to talk about what happened, what led to the relapse, and then what brought me here. That's the conversation. What brought me here to this seat once again, and why am I willing to talk about it? I think I'm willing. I'll go with the last part first. I'm willing to talk about it because I know that people are out there need hope. I know that people are out there. I know people out there watching me. People I know from actually out there. I mean, real out there are watching me. So, like I said, if I can help one of them, or they can help me, or I can help them, whatever they're going through, or anybody else not go through what I went through, you don't have to. And the thing about it is, the longer you go without getting help, the worse it's gonna be. Right? It never gets better. It just gets worse. So, just putting that out there. All right. So, what rule did I break last time? And last time I was in recovery in 2020, the big rule, the one big suggestion: don't get in a relationship. And I think I rationalized that out. I totally rationalized and just made that exception for that, because before I had even started my recovery, I was by myself. Then someone showed up, and then that was relationship. Then I was in a relationship. There was a lot of weird things going on in the relationship that I didn't understand. You kind of really don't know people until you move in with them, right? I think that's it. I think I'll be better next time. I don't know why I'm so nervous. So you kind of don't really know people until you move in with them, or you will know them better. Now, I thought I knew this person. We've known each other for years. We've dated on and off for a few years. But then I forgot that I always break up with her. I forgot that every time we get together, I end up breaking up with her because of her controlling ways. Right? I didn't even think about it at the time. But every time she pops back up in my life, I'm always happy to see her because we do have fun together. We have interesting conversations. She's the kind of person who we would just wake up in the middle of the night and all of a sudden we'll listen to Earth, Wind, and Fire, all night, talking about, what it means to us, why this music is so important, what made me think about it now. It just be all night just talking, just a constant talk fest. But then I always forget that once we get past that little, the little high, that little NRE, new relationship energy high, that, all the old shit comes back. And that's one thing I didn't think about. And I think the last time we were together, I floated the idea of us living together, because I think she was trying to buy a condo. I was not trying to move anywhere. I was fine. But for some reason, I just felt like she may need help with the move or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it'd be a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. Because I didn't actually know her, and I forgot the part about her being controlling. Or actually, I didn't forget about it. I was fine with her being controlling while we were dating, because I could just say, go home, right? But then we were together at the house. I didn't realize I couldn't say that. And I was shocked when actually after the move was a lot of work, and I helped with that. And after the move was over, I actually, we actually just looked at each other and was like, wow, we live together now. And it was surreal, that feeling of, oh shit, what did we do? Like, this is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, we lived, you know what I'm saying? I didn't think about this. I didn't even think about that beforehand. Like, that was a real move. And we were supposed to be building a life together, I guess, but I didn't really understand what that life was. I knew what the life was being with my girl, Heidi, my ex-wife, but I didn't understand that with her. We never actually got that far in talking about, what life was going to be like, all that kind of stuff. But when we were together, I started noticing the changes. And then I was still doing my podcast then. Like I said, I was 90 days, 6 months clean. We celebrated that time. And I caught something. I actually had her be a guest on one of my podcasts. I'm going to play that clip from that podcast, because it's going to be important for where we're going. Because I think we were manipulating each other. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if, I think I was trying to survive, actually, or try not to go down the path I was eventually going down. But I'm going to play this clip, and then we'll talk about it. Hold tight. This is I'm gonna say names, so I don't know who might get offended. I really don't care. So yeah, it's gonna be Kimberly. So here we go.
Of dating someone in recovery. And this is a very important one. First one is don't allow yourself to be manipulated. And I'll say this again, like I always say. I think I've said it before. I don't know if I ever said it. Addicts, active addicts, are master
Yep.
manipulators because you have to be a successful addict.
I don't know what a
If
successful
you're
addict
not,
is. I don't
you're
know why
not
I
gonna be
said
a
that.
successful addict. And I was a successful addict. So, but the whole thing here it is though. For me, being a successful addict, I manipulated myself more than anyone else because I seriously believed from my first marriage to my last marriage and all the relationships then up to this one that I was gonna figure that shit out somehow. As sick as I was, as toxic as I was gonna all of a sudden just wake up and be like, oh, I'm done with that. And then we gonna have this married life together as planned. Right? That's the game I played on myself. So imagine the game I could play on you if I wanted to play. Now, how do you feel as though do you look out for manipulation?
This is the part to listen to.
No, but that's because in my line of work, my lines of work, manipulation has been a tool that I've used, and so for me, manipulation it's not to the detriment of others, but what I would consider to the benefit of others. But the reason I don't look for manipulation is because for me it comes down to my boundaries. Like it's about what I can give while still taking care of myself. And so I'm going to give as long as it feels good to me, or do, or concede, or compromise, or whatever, as long as it feels good to me and I'm still taking care of myself. So you could, like, let's say, for instance, if you really needed something or needed space or whatever, I don't know, we argued and you needed me to apologize for something, and I felt like apologizing was going to dishonor myself. I, even if I owed you, if the mediator on the outside looking in said, no, Kimberly, you owe him this apology, but I still
Listen.
felt like it was going to dishonor myself, I wouldn't give you that apology,
Boom.
even though you genuinely deserved it or were genuinely requesting it. So, and a lot of people will say, oh, well, that's jacked up. I mean, but that's my boundary. That's how I have to take care of myself. And so, as long as I can feel good about taking care of myself, then whether you're trying to manipulate me or anybody else is trying to manipulate me, that's your business. Because I'm not going to allow anyone to make me dishonor myself.
That's some grown up shit right there. I understand what you're saying. I kind of,
Okay, so now you see that was the video, and I wanted you to catch that part about I didn't that boundary that she was talking about, like that boundary that would not allow her to do the right thing to make herself feel better, was a boundary that I didn't know that existed. I think I probably knew that it existed, but I didn't actually. There's a lot of weird things I didn't actually think I picked up on. So that time when it came time for me, when I was going through something and I actually needed help, I didn't come out and say I need help. I asked her to go with me to do something, and she chose not to. It was like, and the way she said it was like, why would I do that? And I think that was like, boom. That was like the ending. Um, that was like, wow, okay, you're right. Why would you do that? And then that just, I don't know, it just really flipped me. And that's something that I have to be careful of. And I knew from a lot of incidents of us living together and things she was saying to control me and things like that, were being said to other people, not just to me. Like I didn't even know, like with my addiction, when I had like 6 months clean, and 6 months clean, and she threw a party, and I heard her friends calling me on the phone. I had no idea she shared it with them, and it wasn't a problem with her sharing it to them, but I didn't know. So obviously things were happening behind my back that I didn't know about. And I didn't, like I said, like she said, the boundary. I didn't know anything about the boundary of she would definitely do what's right for her. Um, that's how I hear it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I heard it. And that's what, and that, and that's a lot more. That relationship was good. It was bad. That's a lot more things that happened, but that's no excuse for me, going through what I went through and then getting here. So that pretty much what brought me here and put me back in this seat. And so I'm going to be back talking about, what it is every day to go through life in recovery. That's what I'm back at. That's what I'm going to be talking about. But I'm going to be talking about other things too. So I'm going to end that conversation right there, and then we're going to move on to the next section. All right, I don't know. Okay, that's going to be our little segment switch music right there. Unless it get flagged. It might get flagged, so it might not. So, if you know who that is, leave it in the description. You should know who that is if you really know Go-Go. You should catch on like right away if you really know Go-Go. So I think next we're going to go into, I'm going to talk about, I guess real quickly, some current events. I really don't. What's going on? We're in the middle of a coup, and you could be snatched off the streets, and you could be sent to El Salvador in a prison, and nobody will ever know. That's basically where we are. Anybody in this country right now, if you don't think that you can be snatched off the street and sent to El Salvador without anybody knowing, you aren't paying attention, because that definitely can happen. They are not following the law at all. The law, because their idea of the law is that the president should be able to say and do whatever he wants, and but the courts keep telling him he can't, but he keeps not being with the court. So I guess they get to the point now: who's going to force it? Who's going to force the law? If the team that enforces the law decides they ain't gonna follow the law anymore, what does the team who don't have law enforcement going to do? So we're basically to the point that it's going to take violence to get our country back. I'm not advocating any violence at all. I don't know. But all I know is I don't know how long a person can try to take a country full of people that don't know nothing but freedom. I don't think he understand MAGA. One thing I understood. Okay, I lived in DC and worked in DC all my life in these buildings, and I worked behind like Secret Service protection. They would go out in the building. I worked at the Treasury Annex, and in the Treasury building right across the street from the White House. That area was locked down, and if you were to ever show me or ever convince me or try to get me to believe that somebody could walk or storm the Capitol building and they didn't shoot a bullet. One bullet was shot and one person was killed. They were getting stoned, kicked, sprayed, and they didn't shoot anybody. And I'm just sitting there watching it. I'm like down like 30 minutes away, 45 minutes away from it. I'm watching it. I'm like, they're not going to shoot. I know they're not going to shoot. So everything that we were believed that we were protected, I'm not sure we were really that protected, because they have there's something in them where they will not shoot at white people. I believe that's it. It's just like that was the most. And what I think is, I don't think Trump understands, or 47. I don't like saying that name, but I don't think he understands MAGA, right? You lied to them. You lied to them, and they're not gonna take it sitting down. Hope you know it. You take that to Social Security. You keep jacking these prices up and taking their Social Security and scaring them about Medicaid. Then these veterans too. That's who attacked. Those are the same people that attacked the White House. I mean, the Capitol building on January 6th, right? Same people who got locked up. They have a point where they will not take being lied to, and they were lied to. And it's a slow boil. Right now, where I deal with it, I'm watching. I'm not watching mainstream media. I'm watching independent media on YouTube. I post that stuff on my page to get other people to stop watching mainstream media. You aren't getting the real story. And you're not getting the whole story. You're getting the narrative. The narrative is coming from their corporate people. So go to there's independent media on YouTube. Find some people you like and watch that. to get to know what's really going on. I'm amazed that sometimes when I do catch glimpses of mainstream media that the what I want to say, the narrative is so different, or it's you haven't, or they're not giving you the whole narrative. And I'm like, what about this? What about that? And then when they're talking about like stuff like Greenland, like they talk about stuff like that as if it's normal, as if there's some claim to it, or there's some reasoning to it, like and there's some truth to it. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I don't know what could happen. He obviously could just order the military to overtake Greenland, but I don't. Greenland's a member of NATO. I don't really understand. I don't really know what that's gonna look like, to be honest with you. I don't even want to know what it looks like. I'm already saddened by the fact that Canada has cut us off. That's a friend. That's the next door neighbor. How you cut your next door neighbor off? I don't even get that. You don't do that unless you're going to war. And that's basically what it seems like you're doing. You're going to war. We're going to war against Canada, Denmark. I mean, little countries on the side of Russia. And what are we going to go to war with Europe? I don't. The strategy. Please tell me the strategy for somebody. Help me out because I don't see it. I see just danger. And then the leaks and all this kind of stuff. Incompetence is amazing. So every day I'm like, I go to sleep, I see what's happening. It's every 2 hours, basically. You can basically find a new story on what's happening every 2 hours, and something has changed, or a new perspective. There's so much happening. And it's so dangerous. And that brings me to the black podcasts in America. Where are y'all? I mean, like, I can't, like Joe Budden, my podcast, I normally watch like Joe Budden for, Joe Budden's Poor Minds, the big podcast, Joe My Blood, Decisions, Horrible Decisions, podcast out of New York, podcast out of Atlanta. So I can't watch them because they don't really, I know they're saying black people take it easy right now because we voted for Kamala, but still, these rights, what's happening could happen to us. People being snatched out the street by plain clothes people in masks with no badges or anything, just snatched, gone, and then sent away real quick, right? And they could lose you. You know what I'm saying? Like one guy, an American, has been captured and put in chains. The Canadians have been sent to detention for a visa issue that could have just worked out. They're for 2 weeks in prison for no reason. And then you do have I want to stop saying you do have like I said, Americans, being caught up in raids, and then it takes time for them to get caught out. I think it's some man still trying to prove his citizenship, and then they're trying to, like, any day now there might be a executive order. Please ignore those. Those are mostly just done. If it's not a law, don't worry about it. I mean, you can worry about it. I mean, because his people are going to follow it, right? So if executive order saying pick these people up, blah blah, his people just will follow it. They don't really care. A lot of them going to live in jail, I'm sure, with charges, but they just don't care because I guess they believe in the coup and they just trying to get their place in the new regime. So be careful. Be careful. You will get caught up. You will be sent away. It's like that. And what I was trying to say is they're trying to get rid of citizenship. I believe the play, and this is probably the outcome from Stephen Miller. The play is to revoke everyone's citizenship, and then everybody has to reapply for citizenship. White people automatically get citizenship. We're all DEI, blacks and people of color. It's on a basis of if you're a good nigga or not. I don't really know what the criteria are going to be. I guess the black Republicans kind of know. Get in now, or you won't be able to get in. It's scary stuff. And so for me not to hear anything on these black podcasts, I just had to stop listening because I don't think they understand what we're going through, or they don't want to understand. I don't want to really hear them talk about these subjects. But it's crazy, right? It's a disconnect that I don't understand. Or maybe they're just going on about their business. They aren't affected. They're probably all of 1099s, and they got their bag for the year. It's done, it's set. So they're just doing the contractual obligations, and nothing really changes, right? I guess for them. But for just the regular people. This is real. People are getting snatched up off the streets. Rights are being taken away, and it's illegal. But the way the courts move, they move slower than legislation, and we don't have a Congress. We don't have the Republican Party has been compromised to the point the money just got them stuck. The money just got them stuck. They can't do nothing. They don't know what to do. They say money and violence, right? Because their party will kill them if they try to, they'll get death threats and stuff like that. And then the party will kill them, and they want to get their money from Elon, or Elon will use his money against them. So that's where we're at now. We're caught behind the billionaires. The billionaires are the Airbnb billionaire said, he's happy to see these changes. We're gonna have the government be more efficient. It's gonna be like the Apple Store, the App Store. I was like, what? I don't even understand these people. But if you're a billionaire, you don't even know what you're talking about. If you've been a billionaire since you were a teenager or got your money real quick because you're in tech, you probably haven't lived the life where you could just not get your Social Security check for 2 months. You know what I'm saying? You don't really care. You wait on a bag, but you got another bag in the bank, or something else got you safe. But you don't know what it's like to live. So when I hear these people talk, these billionaires talk, it's a disconnect, and I'm like, okay, we shouldn't have billionaires. There's no reason. There's no reason that we have billionaires. It has to be. Capitalism is good. I'm not gonna say regulated capitalism. I say regulated capitalism is good. The growth model is unsustainable. It's gonna fall, and then it's gonna leave people behind. So that's the way the system's set up. So why do the people that have money just keep wanting to have more money? That's the sickness. So anyway, current events. That's it. I want to talk about PG. So yeah, I'm in the DMV, and I want to highlight a new artist that I heard from Wayno's podcast. Wayno, if you know Wayno, he was on Everyday Struggles after Joe Budden, but he has his own podcast, and it's called I'll Do It Myself. YouTube. It's a YouTube channel. I'll Do It Myself. He's talking. I like the way he talks about. He's a positive brother, and he's always talking about hip hop. I like the way he talks about hip hop and music. So he turned me on to this new artist. Not a new artist, but it is a new artist to me. The name is Redveil. I can't play any because of the copyright restrictions, but it's called Redveil. He's from PG. Check it out. I'm trying to bring up an image of him. Check it out. He's really good, and it doesn't sound like he's from PG, and that's what I wanted to talk about. I'm like, how does he have this vibe? And we both care for PG, but I realized that PG is big, and it's all. This is Redveil, Redveil. Check that out. Some good music. It's really good. And he's from DMV, so he's not like Wale. He's a little different. I don't know anything about him, but the music's good. It's sort of like a Lil Baby type music, type vibe. Yeah, Lil Baby type vibe. Who else? What's that? I don't know. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't remember nobody. Gunna, Young Thug, that type of vibe. But he's really good. But it's on the PG tip, so I'm listening to the music. I'm gonna listen to it more. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to see where he's from PG, or what's his message to people that live in PG, or what is he saying about growing in PG. So it's interesting. I'm gonna try to have more things like that. Definitely gonna start highlighting DMV podcasts. We need to highlight our own, because New York is I don't understand why we don't have the same type of podcast scene that New York has. I'm sure we can. And if you know the New York podcast scene, you know the studios, you know the shows. Horrible Decisions, Joe Budden, Rory and Maul. Atlanta is 85 South. Poor Minds. So I hopefully want to help get one of our podcasts up to that level. I don't have a podcast from DFV that I like to watch on a regular basis. I have a lot of listed. I'm gonna try to hook into them, but I don't. Oh, another podcast shout out I want to give a shout out to is I think it's called Grits and Eggs. It's Grits and Eggs. It's a young guy. I just found him on Instagram, and I've been watching his podcast and his Instagram feed, and he's dropping all knowledge about hip hop, about a lot of knowledge about. Okay, it's called Grits and Eggs podcast. Check that out. It's funny and you learn a lot too. So that's Grits and Eggs. Check that out for another good podcast. And I guess I'll give you some independent media podcasts if you want to really know what's going on with this whole thing. Start with the Bulwark. Just look up Bulwark on YouTube or Midas Touch. I know everybody's heard of Midas Touch. They beat out Joe Rogan, so they're doing a bang up job. These are legal as fuck. There's a lot of legal AF. I'm sorry, legal AF. So basically, these are the top name is called Bulwark. Then there's podcasts underneath it, right? A lot of different podcasts. So I know all the different names. So if you just look up Bulwark, Midas Touch, legal AF, you got Don Lemon, Joanne Reed. A lot of these people are not independent. So you definitely want to. There's no reason to keep watching mainstream media. We want to starve. We need to starve as much corporate entities as we can. They do not have our best interests at heart. All they want is our money, and they will kill us to get it, as you can see. Because what's happening right now is nothing but there will be blood. People will. I don't know how we can avoid it. Just today, the slip up this week with the secrets. I don't know how we can avoid it. I don't know how you keep threatening other nations and not go to war. You know what I'm saying? Like if somebody was threatening me like that, sooner or later I'm gonna be like, let's go, because I'm gonna be tired of it. You're not gonna keep saying that to me. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go ahead and do this and get it over with. So I think that it's every day. And to think that we're gonna be all right, prayerfully, you know what I'm saying? I'm no longer a Christian, but prayerfully I hope that we be all right. We can be all right. I don't see us going into complete authoritarianism or fascism without having people die en masse. Because I don't see it happening. I don't see people taking orders like that. I don't see blue states keep giving senator money to the federal government, and the federal government is attacking us. At one point, we got to stop. You know what I mean? Like we can't send you our money. You don't give it to us back. You know what I'm saying? Don't give us services. What are we sending you money for? For your pocket? It seems to be that's what they think it is. We work for them. I don't know how that happened. Well, I know how it happened. It happened racism. That's why it happened. So yeah. So hopefully, like I say for the podcast, hopefully, I'm gonna go ahead and blend. I'm not gonna do the segment change because I didn't follow my segments. I was nervous. I'm kind of okay right now. About doing this, I was late. Actually, I was late because I procrastinated. So, but that I feel better now. I feel okay. I feel good. I'm not elevated enough, I don't think, if you get my drift. But I'm elevated to the right level where I need to be. So, like I said, this is gonna happen every Friday night, 7:30ish. Live on Instagram, live on YouTube. Hopefully we're gonna start getting guests. I want to turn this whole little joint into a joint with 2 couches. I want it to be a vibe more than just a podcast. I want to be on Friday night because we want to talk about what we're doing, where we're going, how was the week. It's not gonna be, like I said, it's not gonna be a downer. The downer, that was a downer episode right there. You know what I'm saying? Just the reality of this is where I'm at. From this point on, it's up. You know what I'm saying? And then when I'm not here on a Friday night and I ain't say nothing, you know what happened. Show's over. I'm dead. Okay? That's what's going to be. So just take it like that. Every day I'm here, I do a podcast. You see live come up, I'm doing good. If you don't see it, damn. We don't want that to happen though. All right. I think that I'm going to leave it there. I think I talked about how I got here, why I'm here, what happened. I talked about my relapse in 2020. I haven't talked about a lot what's been happening, and how I even got here, because I had no podcast equipment. I had nothing in 2020. I basically just left it all up there. And when I was living there, I was living in Laurel. I left it all up there because I wasn't going back to get it. I didn't care about it because I didn't want it, because I wanted a new life. Because I know it seemed like that life led me up to the point where that was the best I could do. And then what do I want that stuff for? I just get new stuff. It's not a good thing way to have. It wasn't the stuff that I had up there wasn't. It wasn't worth going through what I had to go through to get it. So I just rebuilt my stuff. So I'm going to show a picture of my rig. I bought this. What I'm doing. So you can see that. So I'm sitting in the chair, the gray chair there. The light is blue. That's over there. And then over there is where I have a computer. So I can produce other people here or whatever. I think I have one more picture of this setup I want to show. Yeah, so that's it. The ring light camera underneath there. I definitely want to get a new camera right away. I don't have the equipment that I wanted to buy exactly, but I will be upgrading soon. Like I want to get a Sony ZV-E10 for my camera. So I'm gonna get into a little cinematic camera, cinematic filming and pictures. So that camera's gonna really feel a lot. So I actually want 2 or 3 of those. So I want to be able to have different angles and things like that. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna do today. There's nobody in the chats, and I'm good with that. I'm glad I got this episode done. So next week it'll be the beginning. It'll be check-in. It'll be some current events. It'll be today's conversation, and then we'll do a wrap up. We'll talk about some DMV stuff, some podcast stuff, and some business. So like I said, next week I'll be here. Hopefully, you got something out of that. I guess the major thing I want to say: do what's best for you. Right? Make a decision about what you need to do for yourself, and then do that for yourself. Let your intentions be known. Don't change for anyone, unless you're going in the wrong direction. If you're going in the wrong direction, of course you need to change. But if you know where you're going, if you have faith in what you're doing, if you set your attention straight, then just follow that. Because the moment you start doing good, people will show up in your life. They're not here right now. They're not going to be here when you're doing bad. You're not going to be, but when the moment you start doing good, they're going to start coming back. You know what I'm saying? So you have to carry yourself accordingly. What are they there for? Where did they go? Why are they here? I think that's some important stuff that you have to ask yourself. So I'm going to say this message. That wasn't the message. I think the message is here.
Change I must, or die I will.
That's important.
Change I must.
That's important right there. Change you must, or die you will. That's, for me, it's very important. I have a lot to live for. Still have a lot to accomplish. And like, this is one step on that track. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave. So the lives are gonna be up. I'm gonna post the video up to probably tomorrow tomorrow morning, because if I chop it up and get the editing on it. It's been a blast to get myself back in this chair. I enjoyed this. I needed this. I'm gonna continue to do this. So with that, I think I got a way to go out too. I have an announcer guy. Take us out.
All right, people, we out. Choose love every time, and things will work out. All right, peace. See you next week.